This presentation is on Newton's third law. Newton's third law of motion states that every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Therefore, when a certain object exerts force on a different object, the other object will exert equal force back on the first object. Therefore, while Newton's third law may be one of the more difficult laws to see personally, it is probably one of the more important ones in our lives today. In this following clip, we will see Newton's third law in action using the example of a tennis ball dropped on hard floor. This shows Newton's third law because, as you can clearly see, when the ball was dropped, that caused an action on the floor, therefore exerting a certain amount of force on the floor. Because of that, the floor exerted an equal amount of force back up on the ball, sending the ball up back into the air almost to its original position. Believe it or not, even this photo of a seemingly very happy businessman also shows Newton's third law in action. As the businessman stands on the floor, his body is exerting a certain amount of force down on the floor. The floor, therefore, is exerting an equal and opposite amount of force back up on him, making sure that he stays where he is and he doesn't go through the floor or go flying up into the air. It seems that there are endless amounts of examples of Newton's third law, and that's because there is. Here is another one. Punching your fist against a wall is an example of Newton's third law. When you punch your fist against the wall, you exert a certain amount of force on that wall, and that wall will exert a certain amount of force back on your hand, which is why you feel pain when punching a solid object. Weightlifting is yet another one of the innumerable examples of Newton's third law in our lives today. If any of you guys have ever been weightlifting, you guys probably know this anyway. Weightlifting is extremely difficult because of the fact that you're lifting extreme amounts of weight over your head, usually from a squatting position. This shows Newton's third law because as you are lifting the weights over your head, you are applying a certain amount of force up onto the weights. The weights then apply that force back down onto your body. Therefore, you need muscles to keep them up. And this results in fatigue if you don't have enough, and therefore that's why they eventually dropped the weightlifting. In this clip, we will see Kate kicking a wall, which does in fact demonstrate Newton's third law. This demonstrates Newton's third law because as Kate kicks her foot against the wall, she is exerting a certain amount of force against the wall. Therefore, the force exerted on the wall is exerted back onto her foot, which is what causes the ripple effect and her foot to be pushed backwards. In this clip, we will see Nicole showing another example of Newton's third law while pushing against the wall. This clearly shows Newton's third law because, as Newton's third law states, every action will have an equal and opposite reaction. When Nicole pushes against the wall, the force that she exerts against the wall is equally and oppositely exerted back onto her, which causes her sliding backwards. In this clip, we will see me in a sliding chair. I will push against the wall and I will get flown backwards. This will show Newton's third law because as I exert a force against the wall with my feet, the force is equally and oppositely exerted back onto me, which sends me flying backwards in the chair. Now comes the Moneyball question. How does Newton's third law help us with our bottle rocket launch? Well, in fact, it helps us a lot. When, as shown in this picture, you launch the bottles, a certain amount of water is launched out of one side of the bottle. This is an action. This action sends force in one direction. Therefore, according to Newton's third law, which states that every action will have an equal and opposite reaction, the equal and opposite reaction for the water getting shot out of this bottle is the bottle getting propelled forwards. Therefore, without Newton's third law with these bottles, the bottles wouldn't go anywhere, even if they had water in them. Because as the bottle is launched from the place and the water comes out, the bottle will move in the opposite direction due to Newton's third law. Without Newton's third law, these bottle launches wouldn't be as successful or very good. As you can hopefully see, Newton's third law, which states that every action has an equal and opposite reaction, is extremely important, not only in our lives, but also during the bottle rockets that we are doing during this unit. I hope that this video made sense, and thank you for watching.